for joining us. We start this presser with a statement of Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, and then we'll open it for questions. Please keep quiet. We would like to start the presser. Thank you. Foreign Minister, please.
Good morning. This past weekend, Hamas and Islamic Jihad cruelly released horrifying videos of our hostages, Eviatar David and Rom Broslavsky. The world witnessed their terrible condition, starved, tortured. Eviatar was forced to dig his own grave. The world saw the thick arm of the well-fed terrorist next to the starved and tortured Eviatar. On October 7th, and since then, Hamas has committed evil crimes like the Nazis and ISIS did. There are still 50 hostages cruelly being held in the dungeons of Gaza. Hamas and Islamic Jihad are using the starvation and torture of hostages as part of a deliberate and well-planned sadistic propaganda campaign. These organizations also planned the starvation campaign of lies together. The amount of aid entering proves that is a fake propaganda campaign. We see the dire condition of our starved hostages, yet they still have not seen representatives of the Red Cross, despite this being explicitly agreed upon. Hamas have also kidnapped civilians in the past, but it was done on a huge scale on October 7. But what is the meaning of this phenomenon? Terror states and organizations kidnap civilians in order to ensure their own survival and interests. Innocent civilians are inhumanely used as tools by terrorists to achieve their goals. In the case of Hamas, to force upon us their conditions, remaining in power in Gaza. This is a dangerous phenomenon that could happen tomorrow anywhere. The international community must make it not worthwhile for the terrorists. The world must put an end to the phenomenon of kidnapping civilians. It must be front and center on the world stage. This is why I will head to New York tonight to participate in special UN Security Council session that I initiated, taking place tomorrow on the situation of the hostages. I thank the US and Panama for answering our call and helping convene this important and urgent meeting. That is why I reached out to my colleagues and asked them to urgently put the issues of the hostages at the center of the global agenda. I thank them for showing up and for raising their voice. This must not stop until the hostages are home, all of them. But I must say, the unbalanced and twisted anti-Israeli agenda of a huge part of the international media has once again been exposed. Just as there's no acknowledgement of Israel's humanitarian efforts in Gaza Strip, and Israel is doing a lot, the horrible images of the hostages were painfully missing from the front pages of the New York Times, the Washington Post, and most of the global media. It is shameful. We call for the immediate and unconditional release of all the hostages. Ladies and gentlemen, the international hypocrisy must be exposed. Certain countries and leaders try to create a symmetry between both sides, between hostages and murderers. But this is a distortion. There is no symmetry here. Let's see it.
I pushed everybody to say first studies of the stages and ceasefire. So we have to create a push.
Mr. President, does that include Palestinian hostages as well?
Yes,
and there are thousands. All the hostages. Palestinians as well.
On both sides.
You heard what the President of France said. Hostages on both sides. But there aren't. On one side, you have hostages brutally kidnapped from their homes on October 7th, tortured and held in cruel captivity for almost 2 years by Hamas. On the other side, evil murderers serving life sentences. The simple truth, there are hostages on one side and terrorists on the other. The steps taken by countries like France, the UK, Canada and others are a pure prize for terror. A huge gift for Hamas. I don't have to say it. Hamas is saying it. Let's see it.
تاريخية كبيرة جدا. أول شيء إن هي أعادت القضية الفلسطينية. اليوم ليش كل الدول أعطيني بس أقول لك مثل ليش كل الدول أصبحت تعترف بفلسطين الآن؟ قبل 7 أكتوبر هل في دولة تجرأت على أن تعترف بدولة فلسطين؟ أعطيني بس من ذلك. الآن حصاد 7 أكتوبر هو الذي خلى كل العالم يفتح عيونه على القضية الفلسطينية.
Here you saw a senior member of Hamas clearly stating, these are the fruits of October 7th. These countries must understand the consequences of their actions. I warned on this very stage, some of you were here, that recognizing a virtual Palestinian state will lead to the assassination of the chances to reach a hostage deal and the ceasefire. This is exactly what happened. It's immoral, and it's also politically foolish. They claim that they seek the end of the war, but their actions directly prolonged it. These steps have only hardened Hamas' stance during critical days in the negotiations for a hostage deal and ceasefire, and rewarded them for their terror. It is a huge mistake. It is morally distorted. It is geopolitically foolish. It is time for this country to do some soul-searching. If you cannot help, for God's sake, don't continue to cause damage to all the people living in our region.
Foreign Minister, we'll now open it for questions. It's over there.
Thank you, Foreign Minister, and thank you for having us here today. There now seems to be a plan to expand the war, or an ambition to expand the war, and to release the hostages, all the hostages, at once through military means. Can you explain a little more how this will work? Steve Witkoff also saying that all the hostages will be released at once. How is that possible when there's been a failure to release them in small groups in the last few weeks? Thank you.
It reflects a wish to see all the hostages come back and the wish to see the end of this war after the talks for a partial deal was not successful. And this is basically what I believe Mr. Witkoff said.
You can introduce yourself, please.
Hi, sir. Siddhant from WION. WION is India's international channel. My question to you is, India has been a victim of terrorism. Israel has been a victim of terrorism. How have you supported India in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack? India has been a victim of cross-border terrorism. So if you can perhaps give your view on your support to India when it comes to dealing with cross-border terrorism. And my second question is, the India, Middle East, Europe corridor is an ambitious corridor. But where do you see the future of it, given the fact the situation in this region remains very volatile?
I didn't get the second question, but if to refer, this is a very good thing to ask one question, and then I can remember it and answer, and maybe afterwards asking a second question. But as far as I can recall, and I think I remember it quite well, when India was a few weeks ago a victim for a terror attack, I published a very clear statement on the issue. We condemn terrorists everywhere, of course, when our Indian friends are hurted, but anywhere else, and I did it at real time. Michael, תביא לי את בבקשה.
Hi, Alexander Cornwell from Reuters. Foreign Minister, in recent days, and to follow on from the initial question, American and Israeli officials have been quoted talking, Israeli officials about a comprehensive deal in Gaza, American officials about a US-Israeli plan for Gaza reconstruction that would essentially mean ending the war. Witkoff quoted as saying that Hamas is prepared to lay down its arms. What does this look like? I mean, we're almost 2 years into this war. What does this look like? And is anything different today? Has something changed in recent days compared to maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, when a deal was not able to be reached? Thank you.
Well, I believe that in Washington, D.C., they are investing thoughts about what we used to call the day after. And therefore, we will not give the conclusions of their thoughts. The Americans will do that in due time. But I believe you referred to that. We also discussed with the U.S. The humanitarian situation, and I believe that the U.S. is intent to enter massively to this issue, and we praise that. And again, we will let the U.S. announce its own decisions in due time.
Mike Schwartz from CNN. When public opinion polls in Israel would indicate that the majority of Israelis want an overall deal, release of all the hostages, and the end of the war, why is the government against this?
We are not against it. We are for it. The war could have ended yesterday, can end tomorrow. We support that. The question is, under what conditions do you accept Hamas conditions to the end of this war or not? When Israel are being asked specifically on the conditions, then you'll see different answers. So, yes, we would like to have all our hostages back. We would like to see the end of this war. We always prefer to get there by diplomatic means, if possible. But of course, the big question is, what will be the conditions for the end of the war? And I'll give you a couple of conditions that is part of declarations of all the states. Hamas cannot have a role in the future of Gaza. Hamas must be demilitarized. All the hostages must come back. But until now, as you know, Hamas didn't agree to that, and it published a specific statement on that last Friday. So the question is not about ending the war. The question is under what conditions. Basically, we would like to do it, but we would like to do it under Hamas conditions.
Foreign Minister, this is Abhishek Kapoor from Republic TV from India. My question is, you mentioned about the double standards or hypocrisy of some nations in dealing or equating terror victims with terrorists. We have in India faced that for a long time. What more can be done about that? And two,
about what?
What more can be done about tackling this hypocrisy of some nations and perhaps some part of the world in equating terrorists with victims of terror, which I said India has faced for long. And just to add to it, you're saying that Hamas, or there cannot be peace on Hamas conditions. From where are they getting those weapons still? It's been almost 3 years or more.
I didn't get the second question. With regard to the first question, the answer is exposing it. This is what I try to do here. It's hard work, but it's inevitable. What's the second question?
From where is Hamas getting all those weapons still?
Well, you know, they built during years 2 states of terror. One is underneath the ground, and they still have weapons there. And as a matter of fact, our soldiers, while fighting there in Gaza Strip, found ammunition almost in any house. So it was the largest terror kingdom on earth. Clearly, today they have less ammunitions. Some of their abilities, like missiles, are gone, but they still have guns, they still have explosives, and they use it.
Thank you. Last question, please.
Foreign Minister, the Prime Minister has
What is your
call from TV9 Network in India.
India?
I want to know, the Prime Minister has reached out and, of course, given a statement asking the Red Cross to help. But in light of the new videos that have surfaced now, would you also urge the United Nations to, intervene? And do you feel that the UN has completely failed, to counter terrorism overall? In the last many decades, there hasn't been even a definition of terrorism that has been arrived at. And second question, on the Iranian president's visit to Pakistan that has just concluded, and Pakistan has backed the nuclear capability program of Iran, and the trade deal has gone to another level. How do you react to that between Pakistan and Iran? Thank you very much.
First of all, with regard to the Red Cross, it is very important to emphasize that visits and also medical treatments, medicines, included in the first hostage deal from November 2023. Hamas breached it. Hamas didn't implement. So there was an effort by the Prime Minister to reach out and see what can be done, and I hope it will bring fruits. But it is clear that Hamas not only not consistent with human behavior, but also with its own commitments. Secondly, about the UN, I reached out to many of my colleagues, foreign ministers around the world, and I thank them that they published from Saturday until today a lot of statements on the issue of our hostages in a very clear way. But I hadn't saw any UN declaration about the hostages. Maybe I missed something, so I want to be careful. But to the extent I followed, I hadn't seen one. So that gives you a hint, or more than a hint, about where the UN is stand. I mean, it's totally unbalanced. It's totally unfair. Unfortunately, I must say that. And it's not a coincidence that their voice is not heard. With regard to the last questions, I'm not sure I've got all the information necessary now to answer it.
Thank you. This press.
Thank you so much.
Is over. Thank you.
answered the question.
Thank you.